Now let's start. Now let's start doing and analyzing our first partimentino, your first partimentino. So how to manage a partimentino? Watch this video because it's very important. In this video, we realize partimentino number 1. So anytime you face with a new partimentino, remember to play the bass line from the beginning to the end and to understand the key. So we are in B flat major, and so let's play it. This way. After our first analysis, the second step consists always of analyzing what's happening in terms of movement, cadences, phrases. How many phrases do we have? So let's start from the beginning and let's analyze our bassline. We have a section here, which is descending a fifth up to this point and then ascending a fourth up to this point. And here, as you can see, we have our first phrase. That's it. So, phrase number 1. Then, phrase number 2. Finishing with a cadence to G. This way. New phase. And the cadence here. So we have the last section, which can be up to the last point, even if we have a little section finishing here. Very nice. Now we have this partimentino divided into 4 parts. So now we have to analyze each element and to do a realization. So how to do this? In this first partimentini, we'll do it together, then I'll give you the instructions and you'll do it by yourself. Here, in the first phrase, we have our structural notes. So the topic is parallel thirds and parallel sixths. So let's identify the structural base. Fa, mi. We can even, so the octave leap, it's a diminution. You can imagine to have those notes on the same level. So fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa. And this is our structure. Now, the next level, the first kind of realization, consists in realizing with structural notes. So, let's put our structural notes, D and C. Why? Because they are our thirds. 3, 3, 3, 3. Even if we do not have any indication here, let's put a 3. This is very important because you have to ask yourself one more question. What's the level, the average level in terms of value, in terms of rhythm, where the harmony is changing? The answer is the minima, the half note here, as you can see. So we tend to keep this flow. Then another change of the harmony here because of the first 3. In this case, we have to identify our structural notes and our structural melodies. The other notes of the melody are just a diminution. Very nice. And so, the first phrase of our partimentino has this structure. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's it. So, you can write your structural version. After the structural version, we can start adding more interesting and complex melodies. For example, let's follow the other given numbers that we have here. And you can see now how the sample exercises are very important. They find their role, their meaning here. because 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3. And now it makes sense because we have this melody. As you can see, fa, sol, la, etc., etc. Sol, la, fa, sol, la, this way. And then this is our realization. La, sol, fa. Now, there are infinite possibilities to realize this partimentino, to write and compose a melody, or to improvise a melody. So, if you are a beginner, do something simple but correct. If you are on a more advanced level, you can even add something more. For example, imagine a mordant here. Here, other two very fast notes. La, fa, la, sol, sol, fa, mi, fa. Then in the opposite direction, so descending. Sol, fa, mi, fa, mi, re, fa, mi. Or another diminution which is faster. Fa, mi, re, fa, mi. To write a more interesting melody. The level of complexity can be from 0 to 100. So now we'll do things which all people can do, and if you then are on a more advanced level, you can even book your training session with me to explore other possibilities, because even triplets are possibilities. For example, we can do almost anything. So, phase number 1, play the bass. Analyze the bass in terms of phrasing, look where we have phrases. Phase number 3, individuate the structural notes and do your structural realization, so the orange notes here. After this, continue with the other notes, so the written diminutions and even other diminutions which are not written but that you can add. So let's continue our structural base. So we have the new phrase starting here. Okay, one thing which very frequently happens in music is that the final note of a phrase, in this case B flat, can be at the same time the beginning note of the following phrase. So we have one phrase finishing here and another phrase starting on the same note. So in this case, we'll play the structural notes of the following passage starting from B flat. B, and as you can see, we finish with a cadence to G minor. So do your structural realization with 3, 3, moving down, parallel third. 3, 3, 3, 3, 6, 5, 6. In this case, the structure is closest because we are changing the harmony on the quarter note level to make a cadence to G minor. If we have 3 voices, 6, 4, 3, 5 with a sharp and a G, but here we have only 2 voices. Okay, only after this add diminution, so let's follow the other numbers. 3, 9, this is a 9, so La, Sol, 6, 7, 6, 7, G, 3, very nice. Now, as you can see, we have 2 numbers here. So what does it mean? It means that we can hold this note, or we can add a rest. For example, you can write a quarter note with then a rest before the next note, the 7th, which is a D. As you can see. Another possibility, at the place of the rest, you can use a dotted note with this rhythm. Was correct. Both are correct. It depends on what you want. Here we are on the level of choices and what can be more coherent or less coherent considering the whole context of your composition or exercise. So it's a sequence because it's fifth down, fourth up, fifth down, fourth up, fifth down, and let's follow the other given numbers. In the first exercises, you'll have a lot of given numbers. Then in the more advanced one, the more we go on, you have less indications in order to, because you will be able to write and to invent these melodies and diminutions. So 3, 9, 6, 7, 3, 3, 9, 6, 7, 3, 3, 9, 6, 7, 3. This way. Rest. 7, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Mi, la, sol, fa, mi. Fa, mi, la, sol, fa, la, sol. Then, sometimes you'll find 3 and 10. What do they mean? They mean that we have the third. If the third is here, the 10th will be an octave higher, just in terms of relationships. I know that this is a 10th, to be precise, but let's suppose this is a third, the 10th is an octave higher, so 3, 10. And this makes sense even in terms of phrasing. Don't look each note, don't look only one note at a time. Look the context and the phrase. Here we have this phrasing. Pa 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 pam, pa pa ra ta ra tam. Sol la sol fa mi re sol. Let's do this way so you can see this thing. Sol la sol fa mi re. So we have these little words, if we imagine a phrase composed of words, where the word starts before the downbeat and finishes on the downbeat. Here it is. Sol la sol fa mi re, la sol fa mi re do, sol fa mi la sol fa. And that's why it's very important to consider the context, not only the single note fa. And that's why we can live this way, because a new phrase, a new word is starting to complete the second phrase. Fa la sol fa mi re, fa la sol, fa mi re, fa mi re. You can even add our diminutions if you want. Fa mi re mi, fa mi re mi re re. Why not? Fa mi re. Mi, re, do, re. The level of complexity depends on your background, on what you already are able to do. For example. Now, let's look at the next phrase, because in the next phrase we have a lot of interesting things that I'll explaining you now that will be important for all the 184 Partimentini, so not only one. What's different here? Let's identify the structural notes. Re, mi, sol, fa, la, do, mi, re, fa. As you can see, we have a pattern which is down a second, up a third, down a second, up a third, down a second, up a third. And we can see an interesting number, which is 0. 0 is a number I put in this exercise to indicate, guess, a rest. Just do nothing. Or better, put a rest. Why? There may be different explanation, there may be different situation, there may be an imitation, or there may be something else. Let's find out the structural numbers. So we have 3, 8, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, and 3. Okay, let's write our structural melody. So 8, it's a D, 3, it's an 8, 8, 3, 6, 3, 3. As you can see, we are following the structural numbers. In this case, the structural numbers are on the downbeat to make the process easier. But if you have an appoggiatura, it can even be on the second number of the 4-note group. Okay, here to start with things which are challenging, but on a very basic level, they are on the downbeat. Now, what to do? We have even top voice moving 3 up, second down, 3 up, second down, and the bass is moving second down, 3 up. So we have a canon. Is an indicator at least of the canon. Let's see the other numbers, so the other intervals. Here we have just an 8. Hold the 8. 3, 2, 3, 4 with the natural means that you put the natural on the 4th. B is a B flat, should be a B flat, but thanks to our natural, it becomes a B natural. So pam 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 pam. 3, 2, 3, 4, 6. Now, in terms of notes, 6 and diminished 5, the slash means diminished on the 5th, are the same note. The fact that they are represented in this case and with the indicator of the previous bit indicates that we have to repeat it because it's a canon, as you can see. So we will repeat it and so rewrite it to keep the canon. And so our canon is composed of this element plus the other element, as you can see here or here. Starting with this descending 4th, which is in the bass the note we had before here. So we can conclude the previous phrase with this G. Rest, imitation, because between G and D in the left hand we have a descending 4th, as you can see. 4th down. 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 3, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, and continue this way. Here we have the natural and the sharp. You put near the numbers, near the notes, with the number. 6, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6. You must become very quick. You have to become very quick, but you'll become just doing by doing these exercises in decoding and recognizing intervals. 5, 6, 5, 3. This way. And even this new phrase, we can say it's finished, it's completed. So, now, let's continue. 3, 2, 8, 7, okay. So, 3, 2, 8, 7, 3. As you can see, there is a coherence between the new phrase. So this note is the end of the canon, as you can see, but at the same time it belongs to the beginning phrase. And if you notice, it's something we have already heard. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi, re, la, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re. So there is a coherence between all the elements which compose a piece, or in this case, an exercise, a partimento. La, sol, fa, mi, re. Then, instead of the 2, I put the 9 for one specific reason. Instead of going so low, which can be okay, move an octave higher to have more space and breath, even because we are finishing this word, this element. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi, re. We can start a new one. Sol, fa, la, sol, fa, mi. Sol, fa. 9, 3, 2, 5, 3, 4, 3, 7, 5. It can be your expectation, but we have 7, and so 5, 5, 4, 3, 7, 3. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3, 5, 8, and this is the structure for the last 2 bars. You can keep this structure, okay, to do a simple realization, or you can add some more notes. For example, parallel thirds. Mi, fa, sol, re, do. For example, or let's write the 3 possibilities, because we have a lot of possibilities, as you can see. You can move in parallel thirds, as you learned. 3, 3, 3, 5. Another possibility, since you have degree 1 and degree 3, consists in exchanging the voices. So, 3, or 10, 8, 6, 10, this way, contrary motion. Another interesting possibility can be have the 6, but using an arpeggio of B flat major. So we set middle point here, another 6, and in the middle we put a note which belongs to the arpeggio. 3, 4, 6. This 4 is totally okay because this note in the bass is a passing tone, so it's okay for a passing tone to be dissonant. And then 10, so we have the last version, which can be 3, 4, 6, 3. As you can see, there are many possibilities. The one I like the most is the one with arpeggio. And then you can finish with a beautiful trill, sol, fa, fa, this way. Okay. And this way we have realized our partimentino, starting from the structure and adding diminutions and diminutions. Here with only, of course, one voice in the right hand. So, let's review the phases. 1. Play the bass. Play the bass. Play the bass. It's very important. 2. Divide the bass into phrases and analyze what's happening. If you have a cadence, if you have a particular passage, a modulation, try to extrapolate the elements of the bass. 3. Do a structural realization. Make a structural realization. So, only the structural notes. You can do this with the entire partimento, the entire exercise, or only on phrase number 1. Okay, you can separate the phrases and you do the structural realization of phrase number 1 and then the elaborated realization of phrase number 1. Or you can do a structural realization of the entire partimento and then you do the elaborated realization of the entire partimento. My suggestion is that if you're a very beginner, you start doing a structural realization of the entire partimento, and only then the elaborated realization. And so, from a simple exercise like this, we get beautiful music. Let's play it again from the beginning. this video I show you how to realize a partimento. We won't do this all the time because there are a lot of exercises. What we're going to do? We are playing the bass together and analyze the bass together. So we'll do we'll play the bass and we'll do the analysis together. After this, you can stop the video, resume the video, and I show you the already realized version that I've prepared for all the partimentini. I'll play my realization and I'll tell you the meaning of each section. Then remember that there may be other possibilities. So if you do a different realization, it may be good or even better than the one I show you, because these are generally simple realization to make these accessible even to beginners. So this is the way we'll continue from the next partimento. We'll analyze together the bass, we'll play together the bass, and then you'll do the realization, and then you'll compare your realization with mine. If you did something different, if you did something more elaborated, or if you want to do something more complex, you can always book your one-to-one training session with me to practice with more complex diminutions, more complex imitation, or even harder partimentini or harder partimenti and exercises.